Have you ever felt completely alone, even when surrounded by people? That moment when life throws everything at you at once, and you're drowning in responsibilities with no one to throw you a lifeline? This story might just resonate with you in ways you never expected. If it does, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us we're never truly alone. The rain pelted against the windshield as Marcus Jenkins gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white with tension. The wipers fought a losing battle against the downpour, and his vision blurred, partly from the rain, partly from the tears he refused to let fall. "Daddy, are we almost there?" 5-year-old Lily's voice came from the back seat, small and tired. "Almost, sweetheart. Just a few more minutes." His voice cracked slightly as he navigated the slick roads toward their new apartment, a downgrade from the house they'd shared with Emma before the cancer took her 8 months ago. Today marked their third move in those 8 months. The first apartment had been too full of memories, they'd chosen it together when they found out Emma was pregnant. The second had been all he could afford after the medical bills started piling up, but the neighborhood had made him uneasy. This one was in a different town entirely, closer to his new job at the local hardware store, a far cry from his former position as a marketing executive, but the only place that offered hours compatible with Lily's school schedule. As they pulled into the parking lot of Oakwood Apartments, Marcus tried to muster enthusiasm. "Look, Lily. There's a playground right outside our building." Lily pressed her face against the window, her breath fogging the glass. "It's smaller than our old one. But I bet the kids here are super nice," he said, forcing brightness into his voice. "And we're on the first floor, so no more stairs." The apartment was sparse, most of their furniture had been sold to cover expenses. A second-hand couch, a small dining table with mismatched chairs, and their beds were all that remained of their former life. Boxes labeled in Marcus's hasty scrawl lined the walls. "Where's my room, Daddy?" Marcus led her to the smaller of the 2 bedrooms. "Right here, princess. And look, I already put up your butterfly stickers." He'd carefully peeled them from her old wall, preserving as many as possible. Lily nodded solemnly, clutching the stuffed rabbit that had been her mother's last gift to her. "Can we have mac and cheese for dinner?" "You bet." He ruffled her hair, grateful for such a simple request he could actually fulfill. After dinner and tucking Lily in, Marcus collapsed onto the couch, surrounded by boxes. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through job listings even though he started at the hardware store tomorrow. The pay wouldn't be enough, not for long. Between rent, groceries, Lily's school supplies, and the remaining medical bills, they were barely treading water. He opened his wallet, looking at the family photo tucked inside, Emma's radiant smile, Lily as a toddler, and himself, looking happier than he could remember feeling. "I don't know how to do this without you," he whispered to Emma's image. Sleep came fitfully that night, interrupted by unfamiliar noises in the new building and the weight of uncertainty pressing down on his chest. The next morning brought sunshine that felt almost offensive after the storm of the previous day. Marcus got Lily ready for her first day at Oakwood Elementary, trying to project confidence he didn't feel. "You look beautiful," he said as he braided her hair, a skill he'd mastered through YouTube tutorials after Emma died. "You're going to make so many friends today." Lily fidgeted with her backpack straps. "What if nobody likes me?" Marcus knelt down to her level. "Impossible. You're the most likable person I know. Just be yourself, and the right friends will find you." "That's what Mommy used to say," Lily whispered. Marcus swallowed hard. And Mommy was always right, wasn't she? After dropping Lily off, fighting back tears as she walked hesitantly into her new classroom, Marcus headed to Hartwell Hardware for his first day. The manager, a gruff man named Bill, gave him a cursory tour before handing him a red vest. "Register training today. Floor tomorrow. Don't mess up the inventory counts." With that, Bill disappeared into the back office. By lunchtime, Marcus's head was spinning with SKU numbers and return policies. He checked his phone during his break, no calls from the school, which he took as a good sign. As he was putting his phone away, he noticed a flyer on the break room bulletin board, Oakwood Community Center, support groups and resources. One listing caught his eye, Single Parents Network, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Childcare provided. He took a photo of the flyer before returning to his register, filing the information away without much expectation. The afternoon dragged on until it was time to pick up Lily. He found her sitting alone on a bench outside her classroom, her expression unreadable. "Hey, sweetheart. How was your first day?" He tried to sound upbeat. "It was okay," she said quietly. "The teacher is nice. Did you meet any new friends?" Lily shook her head. "Everyone already has friends." Marcus's heart sank, but he kept his smile in place. "First days are always tough. It'll get better, I promise." That evening, after a dinner of spaghetti that neither of them ate much of, Marcus sat at the wobbly dining table paying bills while Lily colored quietly. The silence in the apartment felt oppressive. "Daddy?" Lily's voice broke through his concentration. "Yes, sweetheart? Do you miss Mommy?" The question knocked the wind out of him. "Every single day," he answered honestly. "Me too." Lily put down her crayon. "I forgot what her voice sounds like sometimes." Marcus pushed aside the bills and moved to sit beside her. "Want to watch some videos of her?" Lily nodded eagerly, and Marcus pulled out his tablet. They spent the next hour watching home movies, Emma singing Lily to sleep, Emma teaching Lily to make cookies, Emma laughing as they all played in the sprinkler on a hot summer day. When Lily finally fell asleep, Marcus carried her to bed, then returned to the bills. The numbers refused to add up to anything but disaster. He was behind on the medical payments, and the collection notices were becoming more frequent. His savings were nearly depleted, and the hardware store job paid barely above minimum wage. Thursday arrived before he knew it. As he was leaving work, he remembered the support group flyer. On impulse, he drove to the community center instead of heading straight home to relieve Mrs. Patel, their elderly neighbor who had agreed to watch Lily after school. The community center was a brick building with a faded sign and a small parking lot. Marcus sat in his car for 10 minutes, debating whether to go in. What could a bunch of strangers possibly do to help? But the alternative was another evening of silent worry in the apartment. Finally, he got out of the car and walked inside. A handwritten sign pointed down a hallway, Single Parents Network, room 103. He paused outside the door, hearing muffled conversation and occasional laughter. His hand hovered over the doorknob. Just as he was about to turn away, the door opened, and a woman nearly collided with him. "Oh. Sorry, I was just heading to grab more coffee." She smiled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Are you here for the group?" Yes. Maybe. I don't know," Marcus stammered. She laughed. "That's exactly how I felt my first time. I'm Diana, by the way." She extended her hand. "Marcus." He shook her hand, noticing the warmth of her grip. "First rule of Single Parents Club, we all start out thinking we don't need it." She gestured toward the room. "Second rule, we're all wrong about that. Come on in." Before he could protest, Diana had ushered him into the room where about a dozen people sat in a circle of folding chairs. A table along the wall held coffee, cookies, and a stack of pamphlets. "Everyone, this is Marcus." "He's new," Diana announced. "Marcus, this is everyone." A chorus of hellos greeted him as Diana guided him to an empty chair. A man about his age nodded in greeting. "First time's the hardest. I'm Ray." The group facilitator, a woman named Gabriella who introduced herself as a social worker, started the meeting. Tonight's topic is, finding your village. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, but what happens when you're suddenly the entire village? The question hit Marcus like a physical blow. That was exactly how he felt, like he was trying to be everything for Lily while falling short in every category. People began sharing their experiences. A woman named Tara talked about creating a childcare co-op with other single parents. Ray described how he'd learned to ask his parents for help without feeling like a failure. A younger woman named Jessie admitted she'd had a breakdown in the grocery store when she couldn't afford both diapers and formula. "The cashier behind me paid for both," she said. "Then she gave me information about WIC and this group. I cried all the way home, partly from relief, partly from shame. The shame is the hardest part," Diana added. "Admitting you can't do it all alone feels like failing your kids somehow." Marcus found himself nodding without realizing it. "Would you like to share anything, Marcus?" Gabriella asked gently. He hadn't planned to speak, but the words came anyway. "My wife died 8 months ago. Cancer. We have a 5-year-old daughter, Lily. I lost our house, my job, everything except her. We just moved here, and I don't know how to make this work. I don't know how to be enough for her." His voice broke on the last sentence, and to his horror, he felt tears welling up. He hadn't cried since the funeral, not even alone. "You don't have to be enough," Diana said softly. "That's what we're all learning here. No one person can be everything." After the meeting, people lingered, exchanging phone numbers and advice. Diana approached Marcus with a paper plate of cookies. "For your daughter," she said. "My son Tyler always says the cookies are the best part of Thursday nights." "Thank you." Marcus took the plate. "How old is your son?" 6. His dad left when he was 2, decided family life wasn't for him after all. She shrugged. "It was just the 2 of us until I found this group 3 years ago. Now we have extensions." "Extensions?" "That's what Tyler calls them. Not quite family, but more than friends. The people who show up." She smiled. "Ray's daughter and Tyler are in the same class. They have playdates while Ray and I trade off grocery shopping alone, a luxury you probably understand." Marcus nodded, thinking of how he always had to rush through the store with Lily in tow. "Tara's kids are older, they babysit sometimes. Jessie's little one is just a baby, but she's a whiz at finding resources and filling out assistance forms." Diana handed him a piece of paper. "This is my number. If Lily ever needs a place to go after school, or if you need someone to talk to who gets it, call me." Marcus stared at the number. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything. Just come back next week." She glanced at her watch. "I should get Tyler from the childcare room. See you around, Marcus." As he drove to pick up Lily from Mrs. Patel's apartment, Marcus felt something he hadn't experienced in months, a tiny flicker of hope. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm. Work at the hardware store became more manageable as Marcus learned the inventory. Lily slowly adjusted to her new school, though she still hadn't made close friends. And every Thursday, Marcus took Lily to the community center, where she played with other children while he attended the support group. He learned that Diana was an elementary school art teacher who supplemented her income with commissioned paintings. Ray was a plumber who had gained full custody of his daughter after his ex-wife's drug problem had spiraled out of control. Tara was a nurse raising 3 teenagers on her own after her husband died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Jessie was a 19-year-old college student whose boyfriend had disappeared when she told him she was pregnant. They were all struggling in different ways, but they had created a system of mutual support that fascinated Marcus. When Tara needed someone to pick up her youngest from soccer practice because she was working a double shift, Ray adjusted his schedule. When Ray's truck broke down, Diana drove him to jobs until he could afford repairs. When Jessie had finals, everyone took turns watching baby Noah. "It's not charity," Diana explained one evening as they walked their children to the parking lot after a meeting. "It's community. We all give what we can when we can." "I don't know what I have to give," Marcus admitted. Diana smiled. You helped Ray move that couch last weekend. You fixed Jesse's leaky faucet. You're already part of the system, Marcus. The following Tuesday, Marcus received a call while at work. Lily had fallen on the playground and needed to be picked up from school. She wasn't seriously hurt, just a scraped knee and a bruised elbow, but school policy required a parent to come. I can't leave right now, Marcus explained desperately to the school nurse. I'm the only one on shift until 3. I'll lose my job. Is there another emergency contact we can call? The nurse asked. Marcus thought quickly. Yes. Diana Chen. She's a family friend. He called Diana, apologizing profusely for the imposition. It's not an imposition, it's what we do, she said simply. I have a planning period now anyway. I'll pick her up and take her back to my classroom. You can get her when you're done with work. When Marcus arrived at Diana's school later that afternoon, he found Lily sitting at a small table in the art room, happily painting alongside Diana's son Tyler. Daddy! Look what I made. Lily held up a watercolor painting of what appeared to be a butterfly garden. It's beautiful, sweetheart. He examined her bandaged knee. How are you feeling? It hurt a lot, but Miss Diana put medicine and a Hello Kitty bandage on it, and then I got to paint with Tyler. She pointed to the boy beside her, who was concentrating intensely on his own artwork. She's quite talented, Diana said, approaching with a smile. And very brave. Barely cried at all. Thank you for doing this, Marcus said quietly. I don't know what I would have done. Now you know why we call it a village, Diana replied. Next time, I might be the one calling you. As they were leaving, Lily tugged on Marcus's hand. Can Tyler come to our house to play sometime? Marcus glanced at Diana, who nodded. We'd like that. That Saturday, Tyler came over for the first playdate Lily had had since Emma died. The apartment was still sparsely furnished, but the children didn't seem to notice as they built forts with blankets and the few chairs Marcus owned. Diana stayed, helping Marcus prepare lunch for the kids. You know, there's a furniture bank in Oakwood, she mentioned as she sliced apples. They provide basics for families in transition. Tara volunteers there, she could help you apply. I can't take charity, Marcus said automatically. Diana raised an eyebrow. Community resources aren't charity. They're investments in families who need a temporary boost. Besides, Lily could use a proper dresser instead of those cardboard boxes I saw in her room. Marcus felt his face flush with shame. I'm doing the best I can. I know you are. Diana's voice softened. That's why you should use the resources available. It's what Emma would want for Lily, isn't it? The mention of Emma's name startled him. He rarely heard it from anyone else's lips anymore. How did you know her name? Lily talks about her. She told Tyler that her mom is a star now, watching over her. Diana smiled sadly. Kids process grief in their own ways. Marcus looked over at the children, who were giggling as they ate lunch in their blanket fort. She seems happy today. I haven't heard her laugh like that in months. Kids are resilient when they have stability and love. Diana hesitated. And adults can be resilient too, with the right support. The following week, Marcus found himself at the furniture bank with Tara, who helped him select a dresser for Lily, a proper dining table with 4 matching chairs, and a desk where Lily could do homework. The desk is from my house, Tara admitted as they loaded it into Ray's truck, which he had lent them for the afternoon. My oldest went to college this year, so we had an extra. It's just gathering dust. I can't take your daughter's desk, Marcus protested. You're not taking it, you're borrowing it until you're back on your feet. Then you can pass it.